Hey everybody, my name is Lance and welcome to my new YouTube channel, Old Man, Old School, and a Cat. So you're probably asking yourself, what's up with the name? Well, I recently celebrated my 58th birthday, and back in the day, it was pretty common to use the term old man. Your dad was your old man, your grandfather was your dad's old man, and old man was really more of a term of endearment rather than a derogatory remark. And let's face it, I've been around for a while, and I've got a lot of friends that jokingly call me old man. So, I think I've earned it. So that's where old man came from. So what about old school? Well, I'm definitely old school. If you listen to the music playing in the background, it's all from the 60s and the 70s. It's playing on a reel-to-reel tape recorder, which most of you probably don't even know what that is. And if it's not playing on a reel-to-reel, then it's playing on an LP or a record. I don't really text much. I don't have Facebook, I don't have FaceTime, I don't have InstaFace, I don't really do any social media. I'm not opposed to it, it's just not my gig. I'm old school, but that's really not what I'm talking about when I refer to old school. I'm referring to old school basics. Basic principles that are time-honored and tested and proven and have been around for a long time, while it seems like most of us have forgotten about them. That's really what I mean by old school. And the cat, well, here's the cat. He's a snow Bengal, which is a cross between an Asian leopard and a Savannah. He doesn't like to be picked up. He doesn't like to be pet. He pretty much doesn't like anything. But he loves to chase me around, attack me, jump on me, hang out, and annoy me when I'm exercising. And since there's no way to stick him in a room or get him out of the way without him incessantly screaming, if I was going to do this, he was going to have to be part of it. So there you go, there's Rogue. So for a guy that doesn't do any social media, why am I doing this? Well, here's why. I occasionally go on the internet to check out different types of exercise routines or get information about nutrition or maybe some health information in general. First off, there isn't any one place to go to get all the info you need. You have to search on several different sites and sift through what seems endless and varied options and guess which holds some value. There doesn't seem to be one place to go where you can get a common sense, holistic approach to diet, health, nutrition, and exercise. Yeah, there are plenty of sites that show people standing on their hands doing push-ups or doing muscle-ups with a chain around their waist with two 45-pound plates hanging from it, or one-arm planks from a monkey bar. And not to take away from any of their athletic endeavors, but the truth is, most people aren't interested in being able to do those things. I think most people are interested in wanting to know how to stay in shape, but don't have an overall idea of exactly how to accomplish that. I think most people don't want to be told what to do. They want to educate themselves so that they can have a strong foundation on which to build upon. And then, armed with that information, they can make better judgments and choices based on understanding, common sense, and some intuition. Even more importantly, the amount of misinformation on the internet is mind-boggling. There's a ton of myths that have been perpetuated by doctors, nutritionalists, fitness magazines, and the media in general regarding diet, nutrition, health, and exercise. I am going to dispel those myths and give you a renewed sense of hope that despite what everybody tells you, you can absolutely accomplish your diet, health, exercise goals, and it's not nearly as difficult as you think. And finally, if I were you, I'd be asking this question. Why listen to this guy? Well, there's a great quote. Who you are speaks so loudly I can't hear a word you're saying. Have you ever met someone, a doctor, a trainer, someone in the nutrition field, a life coach, who as they're giving you health advice, they're drinking a diet soda in one hand, they've got a candy bar in the other hand, and they don't look like they've ever exercised or lived a fit day really in their life? Well, this isn't meant to criticize anybody. We all have challenges, and each of us have been a hypocrite at one time or another. But I believe you should practice what you preach. And at the end of the day, if I have done nothing else, I have practiced what I preach when it comes to diet, health, and nutrition. I first started exercising in 1967 at the age of 7 in the living room with my mom watching the Jack LaLanne show. I later met and worked with Jack LaLanne. In January of 1977, for my birthday, my dad took me to an afternoon matinee of the Arnold Schwarzenegger documentary, Pumping Iron. And we left the theater, headed straight to Sears Roebuck, and we bought our first of many workout benches and weight sets. My dad at 84 still works out every day. And just about every day for the last 40 plus years, I have exercised or worked out in some form or fashion. I have a doctorate in natural health and biological medicine. I am not an MD. I have a PhD, which some people jokingly refer to as piled high and deeper. But understanding that information I'm sharing with you is from my experience and my education and is not intended as doctor's advice. I was a vegan for 12 years and I'm still pretty much vegetarian with the exception of fish. I eat massive quantities of ahi tuna. At the end of the day, I'm passionate about diet, health, fitness, and exercise, and I'll let you be the ultimate judge of my value. Okay, enough about me. Let's move on to something more important. So this is probably where I lose half my audience, but I only have 2 followers, so if I lose half, I still got 1. I'm good with that. Word of warning. If you're watching this hoping to reinforce what you already believe, I doubt that you're going to be very happy. If you're looking for honest information that you're probably not going to get anywhere else, then you've probably come to the right place. There's a plague that has been spreading across the world. It's a type of exercise cancer. It was first coined by Martin Birkin. It's called FUTZAROUNDITIS. That's not what he called it, but that's what I call it. It's a behavioral disorder that is characterized by an ordinary physique and a complete inability to change it despite extraordinary amounts of time and working out in the gym. FUTZAROUNDITIS most commonly manifests itself as an intense preoccupation with crunches, curls, cable movements, belts, gloves, balance boards, Boshu balls, exercise balls. Fear of squats and deadlifts is another distinguishing trait. Physical exertion is either completely lacking or misapplied toward questionable or unproductive training practices. There's been an alarming increase in FUTZAROUNDITIS in recent years, and in most commercial gyms, it's been estimated that 90 to 100% of individuals are afflicted to varying degrees. Environment and social networks are crucial factors for triggering the disease. It's been proposed that the roots of the disease stem from misinformation and counterproductive training advice found in popular media and fitness magazines, radio, television, and advice and information from different hubs and on the internet. Human nature and the so-called laziness magic bullet and complacency genes place a permissive role for allowing the disease to take hold in the first place. And then the disease spreads rapidly as carriers of the disease communicate with other individuals in the locker room, on gym floors, and on internet discussion forums and other arenas of interaction and information exchange. So, the question becomes, why is FUTZAROUNDITIS such a serious threat? Well, after curing myself of it, I've watched an increased number of people fall victim to the disease and the dubious training practices that it inspires. In today's world, the internet provides a rich soil for FUTZAROUNDITIS to grow and take hold of the unsuspecting observer. Too much information, crap, clutter, shiny object, whoop whoop, noise, bullcrap, Looney Tune theories, too many quacks, morons, and people with good intentions giving you bad advice and uninformed answers. Some of it is BS wrapped up in a fancy paper with scientific terms and elaborate detail promising cutting-edge strategies based on the latest research. Well, this makes it easier to swallow for intellectuals and those seeking a quick fix. 2 different groups, both equally susceptible to bullcrappery and easy prey for scam artists. The core problem of FUTZAROUNDITIS is the overabundance of information we have available to us with so many theories, articles, opinions. We perceive it as something that's complex, something that's hard to understand. We feel like we have to read everything, think about it, regurgitate it over and over again, and only then can we hope to make an informed decision. And then when it comes to diet and exercise and fitness, the right choices are in fact very simple. There are right ways and wrong ways to exercise. Not maybes, not well it depends on, not alternative theories based on new science that we need to investigate or try. There are basic old school do's and don'ts that have never changed. Unfortunately, these fundamental training principles have been lost to most people, and hoping to stumble on them is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. And it's the same with nutrition. Yeah, most people have diet-related FUTZAROUNDITIS as well. Between the paleo diet, the Atkins diet, the South Beach diet, the carb loading diet, the fill-in-the-blank diet, most people have so much information overload that they either struggle to maintain their mediocre condition, or worse, they just give up altogether. And the afflicted are everywhere, from the Shape magazine reading receptionist who greets you at the gym, to the 135-pound skinny fat personal trainer who tells you that deadlifts and squats are off limits, to the bandana wearing bro on the cable cross machine, and the guy with the entire day devoted to nothing but abs. All of them suffer to varying degrees of the debilitating disorder known as FUTZAROUNDITIS. And keep in mind that the disease sneaks up on you, and it progresses gradually. Some people walk around with a mild case of FUTZAROUNDITIS for years, even decades. And then there are those who are all but lost and for whom there is little hope of a cure. They're too busy emulating the latest bodybuilding, pro that's doing bicep blaster routine or rolling around on the Swiss ball somewhere. So how can you tell if you're suffering from FUTZAROUNDITIS? Simple. Ask yourself if you're in the shape and condition that you desire to be. It boils down to your results. That's it. Bear in mind, that's a subjective measurement. It's emotional, but there is an objective measurement, and it's the best measurement of overall condition. And that is to know your relative strength. Knowing your relative strength will tell you whether you might be suffering from FUTZAROUNDITIS or not. Here are the relative strength measurements that you need to know. If you have intermediate strength, you should be able to bench press 1.2 times your body weight. You should be able to do about 8 chin-ups, and you should be able to squat about 1.6 times your body weight. You should be able to deadlift twice your body weight. If you've got advanced strength, you should be able to bench press about 1.5 times your body weight. You should be able to do about 15 chin-ups. You should be able to squat twice your body weight, and you should be able to deadlift about 2.5 times your body weight. And if you're highly advanced strength, well, then you should be able to bench press 1.5 to 1.8 times your body weight. You should be able to do 15 to 20 chin-ups. You should be able to squat 2 to 2.4 times your body weight, and you should be able to deadlift 2.5 to 3 times your body weight. The higher number on those past three is what you would consider to be an elite athlete. For women, the corresponding strength goals would be 0.9 times their body weight for bench press. You should be able to do about 11 chin-ups. You should be able to do 1.5 times your body weight in squats and about 1.8 times your body weight for deadlifts. Remember, relative to men, women have much less muscle mass around the chest area and the shoulder girdle. Men have much higher androgen receptor density in this particular area, but the lower body is comparatively stronger to the upper body in most women. We'll discuss all this in a later video, but make sure that you measure your progress and you know where you're at. You can't hit a goal if there's no target. So take the time every couple of weeks to see where you're at relative strength-wise and performance-wise. There are some common symptoms and behaviors associated with FUTZAROUNDITIS. If you recognize that you have any of these and you haven't met your strength standards, then you need to immediately cease your behavior and implement the necessary changes. The first symptom is you don't keep track. You don't remember how much you benched, you don't remember how much you squatted, you don't know how much you deadlift, you don't know how many chin-ups you do. You need to be able to answer those questions all the time, not I think I can do this many, or I'm not sure, but you need to know exactly how much you can lift and how many reps you can do, period. The second symptom is that you're not methodical enough. The only thing that should be changing from week to week is the load on the bar and the number of reps with the same load that you used last time. Everything else stays the same. The movement, the order that you did it in, the number of sets, the rest periods in between the sets, that all stays the same. You don't add any new stuff. This is the only way that you can fairly evaluate your progress and see if you're headed in the right direction. The third symptom is that you don't plan for success. Never choose training weights at random. Look at what you used last session, make the choice based solely on that, not on your ego, not because you feel like it today, not because you want to try something different or do higher or lower reps just for the heck of it. There are a host of other symptoms, everything from you think more about supplements and squats, to lifting weights for the calorie burn, to you spend more than 5 minutes on your abs, to you're training your core, which usually involves a Swiss ball or a Bosu ball or something else that makes you look like a dipstick. or you're using belts, gloves, straps for no good reasons, or you avoid squats and deadlifts because you think it'll give you a wide waist, bottom line, if you do any of the aforementioned things, you've got FUTZAROUNDITIS. I had it once as well. So the good news is you can be cured. Okay, that's it for this video. Please send your comments or questions to oldmanoldschool@gmail.com. You'll be able to see that address at the end of the video. I'm super stoked about the next video. We're going to do a bunch of myth busting around metabolism, circadian rhythms, fasting, and specifically intermittent fasting. You're not going to want to miss it. Thank you all so much for spending the time with me. I'm going to do my best to post a new video every Sunday evening, and I'll try to answer any questions that you guys have either via email or in the next video. Aloha.